How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, I've been online for hours studying, meditating, and deeply paying attention to this utter devastation over in the Bahamas. And I'm not going to paint y'all a pretty picture. I'm going to try to keep it as raw and core like I usually do. And it's deeply affected me to see our brothers and sisters suffer. They always show you the fluffy stories, but the masses are not getting help. And first I'm going to play an audio and a few videos. And I always say the best, if you want to call it the best, but the more impactful video for last. So my royal family, let's go on this journey. So you're just going to hear the audio on this. I couldn't get the video, and it doesn't matter.
An operation for the American Red Cross. He joins us now from Nassau, Bahamas. How significant is the devastation that has happened there?
The devastation here is massive, and honestly, it's heartbreaking. I was on the island of Abaco, and there were so many houses without roofs and other houses that were just completely demolished. Even when landing in the airport I landed, you could see trees uprooted and snapped in half. People are really telling some horrific stories about the damage.
And have most of the people managed to get off? Are they on the other islands like Nassau?
So there are a lot of people who have managed to get off, whether by boat or helicopter or plane, but there definitely are more people still there and in need of assistance.
Right. Well, what are the most immediate needs besides shelter, if they have places to go and if there are government shelters? But I mean, water, electricity. I mean, it sounds like there is no infrastructure left.
Certainly on the islands, water, food, electricity, medical care, and emergency shelter are huge needs. There are a lot of people still sleeping on the streets. There are people in need of clean water and sanitation. We've seen in disasters before that if clean water isn't addressed within, the first days and weeks, it could cause secondary humanitarian needs. So that's absolutely a priority. At the Red Cross, we're also focusing on something else, which is helping reconnect families. Even people who've lost their homes, lost their livelihoods, lost all their physical property, if they haven't been able to get in touch with their loved ones, their family members, if they're not sure whether they're safe and alive, they really don't have peace of mind. So that is top of mind for lots of people affected by this disaster. And at the Red Cross, we're really hoping in the days and weeks ahead to focus on that.
So are you creating essentially the equivalent of a virtual pinup board where people can say, here I am, has anybody heard from so-and-so?
That's a great way to put it. We have a program called Restoring Family Links, and we open up cases of people who haven't heard from their loved ones and family members during disasters or other crises, and we're able to help trace whether those people are alive, safe, maybe where they are.
And what's the easiest thing that someone from mainland United States can do right now?
So right now, to help people affected by Hurricane Dorian in both the U.S. and the Bahamas, we're asking people to go to redcross.org and donate. But another thing people can do is just take this moment to remember that disasters can happen anytime. Big disasters can affect anyone. And this is a good time to take stock of your own evacuation plan, of your own emergency plan. How will your family react? What will you bring with you? Even first aid classes. These are things we recommend so that people are really ready for disasters when they strike.
You've seen a lot of different disaster zones. Is it going to be possible for a place like Abaco Island to recover from this?
The heartbreak families are facing, that's not something that people easily recover from. And that will take a long time. But so will the physical needs. Right now, we're really focused on urgent needs. But in the future, people certainly will need to have their livelihoods restored. People lost their fishing boats, their bicycles, the stock in their stores. And so those are things that humanitarian agencies will also want to focus on as we move forward.
All right, Janelle Eli from the Hurricane Dorian Operation for the American Red Cross joining us via Skype from...
Well, my royal family, I played that for a reason. You know, I always say there's a reason for what I do. So we already know that we can't give to the Red Cross. And as devastating as it is, as I, pick through these pictures, excuse me for that, did that again. People have a knee-jerk reaction, and I call it the money grab. And it is so overwhelming. I'm just showing y'all how devastating this is. But the people can speak for thyself. So as we continue on.
In the blistering heat, there is stress and panic at Marsh Harbour's main wharf. The question here, who gets to leave? Dorian survivors line up in a lottery.
The captain is willing to take 30.
On a boat to take them away from the suffering. There's room for some, but not all. For the people of this place, salvation is coming at an achingly slow pace.
I've been here since 4 o'clock in the morning. I can't get on the boat.
Most don't know where to go, only that they can't stay here. Trauma upon trauma for the children of Great Abaco Island, worry worn on their faces. Their island life wasn't disrupted, it was ripped away when the Category 5 hurricane blasted through the Bahamas a week ago, taking with it any semblance of civilization.
The economy is just about gone. Shops, banks, hardware, food store.
The life that we lived was bad enough, but the life that we're gonna live is inhuman.
This is, or was, a neighbourhood known as the Mud, where many people had makeshift homes that simply couldn't withstand the force of wind and water unleashed by the hurricane. The fear is, under all this destruction, is now a mass grave.
7 News toured the epicentre of Dorian's direct hit. From the air, it's painfully clear how this disaster has displaced more than 70,000 people. On the ground, relief and rescue crews pick through the rubble, their hope of finding survivors all but gone.
It's total destruction.
In every direction. We're surrounded by family homes turned inside out, some blown apart. In the ruins, the recognisable remnants of kitchens, bathrooms, personal possessions scattered, a reminder of life the moment before Dorian.
I have a few friends who got carried away with the storm, with the hurricane, but they already pronounced them dead.
Normally a playground paradise filled with boats that are now where they shouldn't be, lifted by the force of water Dorian brought and tossed ashore.
What the pictures don't give you, though, is the smell. It is quite strong here. There is literally a stench of death about Marsh Harbour right now.
Help for the survivors has come from a patchwork of agencies, the American Coast Guard ferrying the sick and injured to a hospital in Nassau, while those left behind wait for donated supplies and contemplate the daunting task of just how to rebuild from this.
Everything I have, all gone.
And they'll need every bit of help they've been promised. In Marsh Harbour, the Bahamas, Paul Kadak, 7 News.
All right, my royal family. I'm going to continue on. So you'll hear some audio in a bit, but this drone gives a really good shot of what's really going on.
I'm just overwhelmed, just tired and actually just fatigue. I don't know which moment I can take. I'm just ready to just cut it outside.
Well, you carry that mom. Carry that job. That is not your job. Yeah, but carry that job.
When I look around out there,
job. My job is to keep strong.
Everything is gone. We have nothing. We have nothing.
We got you, and we can start out and we can learn things from you. Because you's a stronger vessel.
I have a sister live in Abaco. Her name is Melinda Breckley. I haven't heard anything from her or her family, and I'm praying to God that they all are well.
What would you like the people outside of the Bahamas and the rest of the world to know about?
Well, we need help. We really need help. Please help us. We need help. Especially Grand Bahama and Abaco. We really need help. Please help.
When you say help, you mean shelter? You mean
we need shelter, we need food, we need medications. We have a lot of persons here who don't have anything, not even a cot to sleep on. In fact, they don't even know where they're going to rest their head tonight.
Wow. All right, my royal family. So as we continue on, this video I'm going to show y'all. It's not very long, but to me it was the hardest to watch. Over 1,000 Bahama residents evacuated after Dorian as food supplies are brought in. The situation is pretty dire here. A college student on Grand Bahama said it's just a lot of people trying to get out. This is the core truth of it, my royal family. So let me blow it up. Let's see if we can get it going. Let me see, wait a minute. Okay, what's going on? Oh, here it is.
In the Bahamas, lines stretched for blocks as desperate residents in devastated areas hope to board boats to safety.
It's chaos here, and the place is uninhabitable. Nobody can live here, so we're trying to get out.
On Grand Bahama, thousands got on this cruise ship turned rescue vessel bound for Florida.
It's been really bad. The flood came up to here in our house, and we had to swim out with our children to get help. But no one wouldn't pick us up, so we swam like half a mile.
With airports opening back up, relief and rescue crews are arriving in mass.
Once crews land on the ground, what's the first priority? Our first priority is establishing a base of operations, and then at the same time, sending out crews and doing reconnaissance on the ground.
The storm's death toll only expected to rise.
We have a friend right now who's lost at sea. He was trying to save a little boy's life. He went back in to save the other child's life, and the tide took him out. We haven't heard from him since.
Morgan, as it stands right now, how many people have been impacted?
Jose, the UN says at least 70,000 people in the Bahamas are now considered homeless. And I spoke to the Minister of Health, who says of that number, at least 6,000 are still unaccounted for or considered missing.
All right, my royal family. Let me shut that down.
Today, one of the hardest hit areas of Marsh Harbor
might as well play it.
To be a mass graveyard. As we flew in, it's hard to believe anyone here could have survived the hurricane.
Yeah, I mean, it's total destruction.
Let's try to cut through here.
Yet search and rescue teams from Florida are trying and hoping for any signs of life.
It's hard to take in.
In the last 2 days, search teams have had success finding survivors, but today, none.
It's hard to scan this area, but we're just doing the best we can with the limited resources we have right now.
Some victims still can't believe what they experienced.
Smell of death. A lot of death. It's bad. It's very bad.
And the aftermath they're looking at today.
The life that we lived was bad enough, but the life that we're gonna live is inhuman.
As relief supplies are now finally arriving, volunteers complain about Bahamian government red tape.
We just brought in medical supplies. We've been good to go for 2 days and have not been able to fly in because of the flight restrictions.
We came upon a commandeered damaged ambulance. The crew inside are from Weston, Florida.
We're here to do the best we can. We get reports of, people needing help. We immediately respond, try to get to them, get as much care as they can.
I did get a chance to meet one young man who made his way here from Nassau looking for relatives. Sadly, he came upon his cousin's body, and tonight all he can do, along with all of us, is say prayers for his cousin and all the others who died here. Jose, it's going to be a very long process to try to find those who did not evacuate and died under all of this rubble.
All right, my royal family, let me shut that down. So, that was an extra bonus, and this is just beyond horrific. And I fully understand logistically that some of the terrain is hard for people to even come out. There are people bringing aid, but you heard what the guy said. There is some red tape that they have to deal with. And I said, I have to show this to the royal family. This is quite devastating what our folks is going through. Also, the psychological impact. A lot of people were sucked out to sea or literally buried under a great deal of rubble. It's just bad, real bad. And when there is a disaster on this level, again, we'll have a knee-jerk reaction because we want to help. We earnestly want to help, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and make sure people are on the up and up, because people take advantage of these type of situations. But we know that the news will, show you fluffy stories, and our folks are suffering, my royal family. They really suffering. They need deep prayer. They need help and everything. I could go deeper into why I think some of this happened to our folks, but like I said, that'll be another conversation for another day in time. So all we can continue to do is to lift up the royal family in prayer. So my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.